That was the stun setting. This is not.
Hello friends, glad to be back during this time of the holiday festivities, and I thought a great video for this time would be, the crazy shit that Marvel and DC both pull with their Santas. With all these feats, which one would really, bop the other? So we're gonna address that right now, and just jump straight into the feats, for starting with Marvel Santa. So to begin with Marvel Santa, he's fairly skilled in hand-to-hand combat, and has like a mean hands behind the back, like dark side stance. You can see like the top left. He's already gained some of my respect in that regard. His brief presence can cause intense social influencing seen here, that you just turn jolly regardless of the circumstances. On one occasion, he turned the group of enemies the X-Men were fighting into helpless little toys, and then proceeded to BFR all the X-Men into New York City once they started asking questions. Santa was able, in one of his most famous feats, he was able to possess the full power of the Infinity Gauntlet for a brief period of time, holding off all the Avengers, Strange, Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man. Yet he proceeds to get fucking one-shot by Snowball, by Namor. So I don't know where you should really put this. I mean, I'll still consider it a feat, but this is kind of ass writing. Well done, Marvel. Maybe you can scale Snow to Multiversal Plus at least. But moving on, he's confirmed to possess a plethora of magical abilities ranging from longevity, complete physical alteration of himself, others, or any objects. He stated his full potential power is unrevealed. He holds a magical dimension in his present sack and gains a strength amp during the night. He's measured to have such high speed it is considered as straight up teleportation. And through his energy output, he was able to snap Captain Marvel free of her restraints, which had her completely helpless prior. On the spotlight to Santa Claus, he's confirmed to be equally powerful to Odin, which is definitely saying something. Basically, if he was the jolly half, being called the Ho-Ho-Hodin. Little cringe, but we'll let it slide. He possesses size manipulation and psychic abilities strong enough to make Hank Pym and Charles Xavier jealous, as it states. When Santa was with the X-Men working together, their computer registered him as the world's most powerful mutant. That is quite the big if true statement, if I do say so myself. On a weird ass run, when Santa really was down under, his raggedy ass still fairly convincingly gave Deadpool the hands, with both of his katanas, just smacked him around. I don't know how he got so fucking skinny all of a sudden. So Santa isn't shook in the slightest when headed to deliver gifts all throughout Yancey Street. So that's a bit of respect gained from the Snowball knockout. His magic is able to affect certain aspects in entirely different universes. He also carries the likes of Galactus level beings within his snow globe of controlling rituals. Even Gwenpool, the narrative bitch, was completely unaware of Santa's presence. Yet Santa knew of her arrival and being. She states this as one of his magical powers, so this is to be expected. She states the billions of homes he visits simultaneously could be at omnipresence. When he canceled Christmas, the single time, he wiped out every single holiday in existence. So that's mainly juicy stuff on the Marvel side of things. Obviously there was a fair bit of appearances where he was kind of irrelevant, but he's basically good stuff comparable to Odin, possibly above Galactus, in base form at least. But yeah, not really to be fucked around with. But now onto the DC side of things with Santa. So repping DC, he can throw candy canes with the ability to instantly form huge constructs, such as his dope factory on this occasion. On probably one of the most drippiest moments I've seen of any comic book character, He easily breached through a prepped time apocalypse through all the defenses and parademons, making it into Darkseid's room without him initially noticing. And then you can see here, like, he obviously just tanked a bunch of blasts, only to happily give coal to Darkseid's, like, face, which was, like, you know, beaming, like, steaming with beams, and proceeds to outrace Darkseid's Omega beams once, like, on a sleigh. He was able to best Bart at who can deliver, like, every gift around the world, like, fastest. So when Bart thought he had, like, done it and just, like, no expectations were present, like, for him to receive his gifts, obviously, because he thought he took the role of Santa, Santa was already, like, on top of this. He was well aware of what was happening, and he took care of Bart's wishes once he came in. You could see in the window, Santa was already, you know, packing the heat. He knew who was coming, so he's always prepped. So Santa usually likes to get, like, wasted at the extra-dimensional bar called Oblivion, which only houses beings that have learned to manipulate magic's, like, extraordinary energies. So we can obviously say that he is quite proficient in using such magic. In terms of magic mastery, this should at least have him then comparable to like of Enchantress, like Nightshade, Ragman, or Blue Devil, but obviously far superior for, you know, being logical. In one occasion, he basically explains his omnipresence in great detail, as he calls it, his magical trip that's shown through every single like form of his simultaneously being at a different spot, you know, giving gifts. So, you know, you couldn't really talk about DC and Santa without, you know, the Lobo conflicts. So Lobo's first battle with Santa was a close one, which was stated lasted for days before Lobo sliced his head off. Preceding this, having like fully recovered from his beheading shown in like a future Lobo comic, he goes like full savage and he can like pop heads with a single flick of his whip. And of course, during a second tough fight, Lobo proceeds to, you know, chop off Santa's head and toss it away. But, surprise surprise, Santa survives the full beheading again, just to duke it out a third time to get mutilated. And with that comes back, so he's basically immortal and probably trolling Lobo this whole time, we do not know. So then using, lastly, Spectre material, you get into the real weird shit. So he resides basically now over like a whole realm or plane of like possible existences made all by Christmas thoughts, which have longed to manifest and come to life. Santa states that he exists like now, he equally exists like before and after simultaneously as they talk to. So Santa's realm, which engulfed Spectre's whole entire temple, when it opened its doorway, absorbed it, which was kind of like its separator between the human world and Santa's realm, which is unique of dimensions, realities, minds, and hearts. When Spectre gets pissed and like grows big boy, Santa equally matches him. I wouldn't be surprised if like he's like omnipotent in this realm or some shit. And finally, even lesser beings in the realm that he bumps into, like that of like Scrooge and his like bitter witches, Spectre couldn't even have a chance of breaking through their powerful magic. So that's just the level of Santa above possibly like Spectre in this circumstance. So it is whack. And that is DC Santa for you. So how would they compare? So who would win between these two? Well, it's honestly a lot closer than I initially thought it was going to be before I kind of read up onto it a lot more. And Marvel Santa kind of impressed me a lot, mainly with the Gwenpool arc, and being comparable to Odin. And I don't know about the big of true statement with the strongest mutant ever measured by the X-Men, but the Infinity Gauntlet wasn't too bad, so he's able to harness that level of energy, and is at least multiversal plus maybe, I don't know, low complex, depending how you judge Odin. But then compared to DC, and it's tough with, you can honestly just kind of rock on Darkseid's feet alone, in the sense that, if we're being realistic here, that's kind of he's doing that every single Christmas, right? He's giving him a coal. So that should proceed into the present, and as time goes on, new iterations of Darkseid have obviously been created with an apocalypse, and Infinite Frontier Darkseid, just, being the regular one, is absolutely broken if you've read Infinite Frontier or have been reading it, and I think would smash both Odin and IG Thanos. So, and the way that literally Santa is able to just meander through Apocalypse and just taunt him and make it out, that's honestly, out of everything I've seen, the most impressive feat. Let alone being able to trap Spectre, lesser entities within his realm, trapping Spectre with ease. And that was like a classic Spectre run, where obviously he's not as much of a jobber and he's actually like a goon. So it's tough, but I think more so than not, I just think DC's version kind of has scaled better over time. But that's nothing towards Marvel's, as downplay. Obviously he's an Omega level mutant at least. And I also think we have to kind of keep in mind that I think DC Santa is a lot less, all talk and no game. I think he's more direct feats and statements than kind of Marvel Santa relies on. And that's kind of important, let's say, with the Lobo feats, where we can see basically his immortality. He always comes back from beheadings and stabbings and mutilations just casually. So he just, he has more on the table, I feel. It's just Santa from Marvel is just kind of in animosity, and I don't know, it would be close. I would give it to DC Santa, I'd say 6.5 out of 10 times. But yeah, I could definitely hear arguments going for either way, and I'd like to know what you guys think. So yeah, key it down below if you guys have any opinions. Hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys have Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hopefully 2022 will be great for all of us, and until next time, until next year, peace out everyone.